Morning, everybody. 8:15 a.m., December 20th. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This market is just really, really getting bought. And I did post on my Twitter. There was a record inflow into the SPY. I think last Friday broke an all-time record of inflows. So they usually say when retail piles in, and they're piling in at all-time highs, close to all-time highs, probably not the best sign, being that they're late to the party. Still can get a surge, but that's kind of crazy, right? Probably some FOMO maybe kicking in. We'll have to see. And then the market's pulling back a little bit this morning. Um, who knows if this gets steam? We don't really know. You got lower trading volumes. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name's Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to find structure along with gamma exposure levels, supply and demand, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and of the preceding day. All to find structure in the market and just try to be on the right side of the trade. You want to be on the right side, right? So I just use those tools to show me very quickly, without having to analyze too much, what side I want to be on. So that's what you'll get out of this channel when I analyze the market. Um, what else? Still battling this cold, I guess. Subscribe, set an alert if you haven't already. Excuse me. And oop, that's not what I wanted to do. You can follow me on X at Gonzo719. And also, if you like my content, you can give me a thumbs up. All right. Let's get right into the futures. Okay. Let's not waste any time. Let's see. We got Ether leading the pack, up 2.8. Bitcoin's up 2.24. Crude up a percentage. All right. Up a percentage. VIX is up 0.88. 30-year bonds still being bought. Should send 10-year yield lower. Dollar is getting some love today, up 0.22. 10-year yield reports at 820. We'll see that. Russell's down 0.07. Dow's down 0.17. ES down 0.18. Gold's down 0.21. And the Nasdaq is the laggard this morning, down 0.26. Moving on. Stocks are like to swing in day trade. Okay, so what do we have here? Google up 1.06%, past 138. Okay, and then you got Coinbase. Sorry about that. Coinbase is up 0.57. That's pretty much it. The rest of the market is going down. So Nvidia is down 0.61. All right, Amazon's down 0.59. Meta down 1.06%. Baba is down 1.33. Okay, moving on to top sector stocks. Okay, what do we have here? Now, a lot of the stuff going on in the Red Sea with oil tankers, that's helping crude. And then, yeah, obviously, Chevron and Exxon moving up 0.4 and 0.24. That's what for the leaders. We got laggards. We got Disney down 0.51, Costco down 0.68. Salesforce got a downgrade. They are down 1.23. FedEx missed on earnings. Projected forecast guidance was not good. Okay, so UPS in sympathy with that is down 2.86%. They also got a bunch of downgrades, FedEx. Okay, so that's not looking good. That's what's been going on there. All right, let's move on to sectors. No surprise, energy is up 0.18, and we got laggards in industrials, discretionary, technology, semis. Semis are the weakest in the morning. All right, news is very light today. Very light. let's see here. What do we got today? Mortgage says mortgage rates are down now to 6.83, previously 7.07. Today at 10 o'clock, you got a ton of news coming out. Not ton, but consumer confidence. Then existing home sales at 10 a.m. So I wouldn't enter a trade at 10 a.m. Tomorrow we have GDP and initial jobless claims and Philly Fed. Okay, that's what's going on there. I already talked about FedEx. So it says FedEx dives at their quarterly profit miss, annual revenue forecast cut. All right, U.S. buy now, pay later, splurges, raises holiday debt hangover risk. That would be a firm that buy now, pay later. That's really all the news. That's newsworthy right now. All right, we can get right into the daily charts. Why don't we do that? And there's not tons to talk about, tons to analyze here. Let's look at the SPY. All right, we made new highs. All right, broke last week's highs right here. Okay, have this trend. It's been keeping in, honoring this trend line. Okay, let's see where we are today. Right now, 474. So currently, right at last week's highs. Still bullish. Not really weak yet. Okay, so so far all we had is this little mini pullback, and then it's been 3 days up, right? Or 2 days up. So it is getting frothy up here, but that doesn't mean we can't go higher, right? So who knows if there's going to be a rug pull and then Santa Claus, okay? Or does this just keep coming, right? Who knows? Really don't know. Let's look at the Qs. The Qs just been really, that's not much of a pullback right here, but that's the only thing you got so far on the Qs. All right, so I mean, you could even draw a trend line from right here, but needless to say, it's been very strong. But right now we're at 408.20, so you could see the Qs are definitely weaker, and we're like in the middle of yesterday's range right now in the Qs. So a little weaker in the Qs. All right, the weakest is the IWM this morning, the Russell, but Qs right there. Okay. Now moving on, we can look at the 10-year yield is down 1%. We're down to 3.88. Okay, let's look at that. 10-year yield is down again. So where are we at? Last week's lows. Okay. Man, if this can drop to 3.68, that's crazy. This is just in a free fall. All right, big free fall. Let's see what happens here. VIX is dead. The dollar is getting a certain little surge. Not a surge, I would call it, but like a little reprieve today. But we're still in this range, right? We came all the way from 107, tried to move up here, and then you just been trending lower, below the 200-day moving average, behind all the 200-day moving averages. But here's last week's low, last week's high, right? So, 101.77, you would break that and see if you can test 100. Let's see. Farther weakness you get in this, it's better for equities. All right. Okay, let's move on to look at some structure into the volume profile, market profile. Let's do that. All right, let's look at our structure. What are we doing? What does our structure look like? Okay. Of course, my marker is not working. we'll fix that in 2 seconds. Okay, let's look at our structure together. So here's what's going on. I talked about this yesterday. So look at that volume that's building out here, right? Then we have the most traded price. This is the 24-hour most traded price of the week. And then we have the most traded price of the week still down here, right? But today, if we hang out here, this is going to move this higher. The most traded price of the week will move higher, and that's bullish. Okay, so that is bullish. Now, conversely, if the market can't move this up, we're going to go return back here. Okay, that's how it works. If value can't follow price, price returns back to value. That's how that works. Okay. And oh, yesterday we had a poor high, huh? Okay, so let's look at a couple things here. Price is right here, 48.12. Here's the most traded price of yesterday. We're below it, right? Okay, so let's look at some structure things here. All right, now we had a poor high yesterday, which is basically a double top in 30-minute bars. Usually, now overnight doesn't count to fix that, but usually you're going to correct that at some point. It just means that you're going to make excess. Excess should just be one time period, right? Like this, that's excess, right? That's a little bit of excess there. That's how usually the markets always put excess at the tops and bottoms. Okay, so that usually gets corrected. Now, let's look at this. We can look at this a little closer. All right, let's look at this a little closer. All right. Okay, so we have our poor high. All right, so this is our poor high. This is our low. Okay, from yesterday. Price is here. Okay, actually, let me open this up so we can see the volume profile from yesterday. Okay, so yesterday's high, yesterday's low, right? Overnight high, overnight low, price. All right, so inventory is very balanced. You kind of got almost a double distribution here overnight. Okay, most traded price of the overnight is here. All right, so what do we have here? We have another weak low. Why is it weak? Right, so here's the 50% Fibonacci of yesterday. Lines exactly up with the overnight low. What else do we have, right? Well, this is the value area. This is the value area from yesterday. Remember, I talk about value area means 70% of the trade happened here yesterday. Okay, that's why I love volume profile. So if 70% of everybody traded here yesterday, right? And this is the overnight low and the midpoint of yesterday's range. Just think about that. And let's take it one step further. This is all the volume, right? Right here, the most traded price of the overnight. So think about that. This is a crowded area here. And most likely buyers. So if this market comes down and cuts through this and starts moving lower, these traders, 70% from yesterday and the overnight, are all going to feel pain. Probably going to take some profits. Okay, and we could test here. That's why that's a weak low. All the reasons I just spoke to you. And again, you don't see this in candlesticks. Okay, you see this with volume profile and market profile. That's the key. Okay, and it also shows you here all this volume, right? And if you just looked at volume profile, like the volume composite here, right? You have this ledge. So this is a low volume node right here, okay? And low volume nodes either act as support or they get cut through like a hot knife through butter. So even just with the composite right here, I could say, just based on this, this is a key level. And you don't have to look at candlestick. It's just literally right here. Oh, that must be a key level. Oh, look, weak low. Okay, very, very, very key. But it could be defended. This is not bearish talk. This is just how the market works. Okay, let's get into some scenarios now. Okay, now we have demand down here, right? So we're in a bullish posture still. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about, oh my God, this is going to fall apart now. It's overbought. That's not the point. Okay, we just go through scenarios. So, like I said, this low volume node here and the weak low is the part that the bulls have to defend. Okay, so if we do come down, and whenever I say defend, meaning it could violate it, but then as long as it doesn't accept down here, and you reject and you start coming back up, you're going to go higher. Okay, it's important to find acceptance below a level. All right, a quick move down and up is not acceptance. So that's one for the bulls, right? Two, you still have this demand zone down here, right? With a decent amount of volume that's transpired here too. This could also be defended and go higher. Okay, those will be pullbacks. Now, let's talk about the bear. We already kind of did already. All right, so you could use this as your little barometer. The most traded price of yesterday, around 48.14, right? We're under that right now. Okay, here's your weak low. Remember, bulls have to defend that. Bears have to break it. Okay, so if the market opens up and you get a little push up into this most traded price of yesterday and it gets rejected and it comes down, you can get a quick flush, and then if you find acceptance, you could work your way down into this demand zone and yesterday's lows. If you break that, find acceptance, we're probably going to test here. We might even go back to the most traded price of the week. And then possibly Santa Claus can come to town. This is just a scenario, okay? It doesn't mean that has to happen or not, okay? We could also open up, come up into the supply, okay? Correct the poor high. You'd see probably something like this, a quick push, and then you could roll and do the same thing. Those are the scenarios for the ES. Okay. Now again, these scenarios I'm talking about are definitely more of like position type trades for the day. You could call it intraday swing trades. Scalping's a little harder with this low volume. Okay, so I mean, if that's your game, you do it. I'm not here to tell you how to trade. Okay, so let's look at the Nasdaq before I have to go. I like this. Now we're probably gonna have. It's not as clean. I'm looking at it right now. The Nasdaq. It's not as clean as the setup. Okay, but let's look at the structure together. Okay, so it looks like the overnight we had some movement up here, right? So you got a little excess, some volume. Now you notice the Nasdaq pulled the most traded price up here. It did that yesterday. Nasdaq's been more bullish, right? So it's been stronger, and it actually moved the most traded price of the last week up here at around 17,000. Okay. Now if you look, like I just taught you guys earlier, a low volume node is right here. Right? I don't even have to look at the chart. Let's look across. Well, that's this low here. Okay. So you can notice the low volume node, low volume node. So this is going to be support or resistance, right? Look to the left. There you go. There's your support right here. It's a beautiful thing. Okay. So let's look at this. Double distribution too, right? You got distribution here all the way up and double in distribution here. Now it opened here. You had this much long activity to this to this much short activity. Not as much as an edge. Okay. However, now check it out. Most traded price is here and we're below it. So that's tiny, a little win for the bears, right? Had so much volume traded up here and now we're below it. So just think about that. The most trades of the last week have been here. If you're under it, right? Most traders have traded here. If you were long, you're underwater. Okay? That's how that works. So let's look at yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows, overnight highs. And the overnight highs happen to be poor. So if we do come up here, we probably push higher. Okay? We don't have great excess at the lows either. Price is here. Price is in the middle of yesterday. Okay? So the setup here is okay. Not as clear as the ES, I would say. It could have the same price movement. I just like the ES, how it's set up better. Okay, so again, double distribution in the overnight in the middle of yesterday's range doesn't give you a lot. Okay, doesn't give you a lot, but you can use this most traded price as a line in the sand. If we stay below it, we could start testing yesterday's lows in this demand zone here. You know, this market is definitely frothy, definitely bullish. So this is no call for a drop. This is just my scenarios, right? So let's look at some scenarios together before I say goodbye to you guys. Okay. You can see the most share price of the overnight is right here. Most likely shorts. Okay. They also can get hurt right now if we start to push up. So let's look at it together. So what could happen today if you're a bull, right? So one thing can happen is you push up and you hold this big level now and you try to make a move up into this supply and try to break the poor high in the overnight. Okay, that would just go along with how the market's been moving. Okay, because you really haven't had many pullbacks. Okay, so also we can also come down here. Right, come down, test yesterday's lows into this demand zone, can't break it, holds. We can make our way up back to here and see if we can test the overnight highs and yesterday's highs. Okay, that's really the moves that the market probably will make. Okay, now conversely, we got to use this level if you're a bear. Okay, you want to stay below that. If we stay below that level, okay, in the Nasdaq, if the market does try to take this out and fails and holds under it, probably gonna come and test the lows of yesterday and work our way into this demand zone. If this demand zone gets taken out and we start holding and holding, okay, then we're probably going to look to test this demand zone down here. That's about 16832. Okay, because you have longs from here, here, and here. This market is due for a correction or a pullback. It just doesn't, you don't never know the timing of it, when it's going to happen. It's due, it's overdue, but overdue doesn't mean anything. The markets could be irrational. All right, so that's really what I'm seeing. Of course, you can come up here, push up into this supply, correct the overnight, and then also get weakness, drill under here, and then that could also cause some weakness. Okay, we just have to see. Google's firing off right now. It's at 138.50. It closed yesterday at 136.65. So Google is the only one that's powering higher. Everybody else is not. So that's what's going on. That's my analysis. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the analysis. Subscribe, set an alert if you haven't already. Of course, you can give me a big thumbs up, a like to help my channel. All right, you can follow me on X at Gonzo719 as well. All right, so I like the plan in the ES. ES has very clear levels. Okay, I'm gonna be very patient. I'm very picky this week. This volume and the time, it's like holiday and all this stuff. The market's not moving normally, so I really want to see a test of the levels that I was talking about in order for me to do anything. And I'm being very picky. So I wish everybody good luck today. Stay green or stay on the sidelines. Sitting on your hands is always a trade as well. So, and you don't lose money. So I wish everybody good luck, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.